Good morning, students. Good afternoon, students. Today is 20th February 2021 and we'll be taking Unit 4th Predicate Calculus of Applied Mathematics and Discrete Mathematics, BSc IIT, TCA, SEM 1. This predicate calculus includes statement, function variables and quantifiers, predicate formulas, free and bound variables, universe of disclosure, disclosed, discourse. It's universe of discourse, theory of inference for predicate calculus. So there are total 5 points, 5 topics which should be covered under predicate calculus. Now, first of all, let's see what do we mean by predicate calculus. Consider two propositions. Rita is a student and Sita is a student. These are the two propositions. There is no relation between these propositions, but they have something in common. देखो ये जो statement दी हुई है that Rita is a student and Sita is a student. Okay. See here we have the word Rita is a student and Sita is a student. So we see there is no relation at all in these two, but there is something which is common. What is common is that both are student. This Rita is also a student and Sita is also a student. Okay, so this is common in both. So both Rita and Sita share a common property, that is being a student. We can replace two propositions by X is a student. So that X replacement is the name of that student. You replace X by the name. Dash is a student. What is X? X is the name which you have to write is a student. So X is a student called a predicate. What we are learning is the predicate calculus. So what is X? X is a predicate. So in predicate calculus deals with the statements involving predicates. So it's a predicate calculus where the statements involve some kind of calculus, some kind of predicates. Say for example, this mathematical equation 3x plus 3y is equal to 4z is the statement in mathematics. This is the statement we consider in mathematics. Similarly, this type of statement we consider in a predicate calculus, where X denotes what? X denotes the name we have to write over here. So if I say Rita is a student is one proposition, Sita is a student is another proposition. So how do you replace these two statements by the predicate calculus? How do you write in a general way? So X is a student. So X here is called as a predicate over here in a simple language. Now let's see. What are predicates? Sentences involving predicates describing property of the objects are denoted by P of X. How do you read it? You read it as P of X. So the sentences involving predicates describing property of the objects. जो sentences किसी की predicates, जो sentences predicates की प्रॉपर्टीज के बारे में डिस्क्राइब करते हैं. प्रेडिकेट डिस्क्राइबिंग प्रेडिकेट्स विच डिस्क्राइब्स अबाउट द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट्स. किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट की प्रॉपर्टी के बारे में जब वो बताता है, देन यू डिनोटेड बाय पी ऑफ एक्स, दैट इज योर प्रेडिकेट. सो प्रेडिकेट इज बेसिकली व्हाट? इट डिस्क्राइब्स द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्ट. एक ऑब्जेक्ट की प्रॉपर्टी के बारे में बताता है, वो कैसा है, उसका वर्ब कैसा, दैट इज वी कॉल इट एज प्रॉपर्टी इज कॉल्ड एज अ वर्ब. उस नाउन का वो वर्ब बताता है कि वो क्या कर रहा है. जैसे student is a noun, student is a noun, so that here name Rita is a student. So who is Rita? What Rita is, Rita's work, Rita is a student, Rita studies. So here what that Rita is basically a student, so it shows the property of that student. Okay, where P denotes the predicate and X is a variable denoting any object. So P is any predicate, and where the property of that predicate is being described here. Basically we don't call this P as a verb, we call property. It means the adjective or one which describes about the noun. So here it describes about the noun that Rita is a student. So Rita is a student means about the Rita, it is talking about the Rita, so it is the property of the student. So here Px can denote X is a student. So X here is the general term which we use, and that is being denoted by P of X, can be written as X is a student. So X is a variable and P denotes the predicate is a student. Similarly, here X is the father of Y. So predicate is the father of. So who is the father of x is the father of y. So x and y are two variables. So x may be one variable in which you can put any value. Y is another variable in which we can put any value. What value you have to put in x and y? You have to put the name here. तो यहाँ x में नाम डालना है, y में नाम डालना है. तो कोई एक नाम यहाँ पर लिखेंगे. Suppose Mohan is the father of Ram. So here x is one variable and y is another variable. So here there are two variables in the predicate. So we denote it by fx comma y. What is f? F is a predicate. You can use capital letter variable, capital letter for denoting the predicate. Within the bracket you write the variable name. So how many variables are used over here? X and y. Similarly, 2x plus 3y is equal to 4z can be described as a predicate capital S bracket x comma y comma z. Here we have three variables. Z should be in small. Okay, so this z is in small, it's not capital Z. So here we have three variable x, y and z. So we have written one predicate as where it takes three variables x comma y comma z. So this is one predicate p of x. How do you write p of x colon x is a student? Second predicate x f x comma y colon x is the father of y. Okay, colon दो dots. Similarly, third s x comma y comma z colon 2x plus 3y is equal to 4z. So these are the three examples of predicate. ये तीन examples predicate के हमने बताए हैं. तो predicate मतलब क्या हुआ? You are writing in a you are describing the property of that particular object which we are talking about. Okay. Now let's see the statement function variables and quantifiers. H is predicate is a H is predicate. See here, capital H is predicate. Is a mortal. So is a mortal is a predicate which is being denoted by capital H. Now small b, this small b, small letter, the name Mr. Brown, Canada, C Canada, S, B denotes the name, that is Mr. Brown, C denotes Canada, and S denotes assured. There are three variables over here, B, C and S. Okay, all are in small case. We have to write in small case. Small case is basically for the variable we have to write. Okay. So this is small c is the place, small s is for the shirt we are using. Okay, so capital H is the predicate, is a mortal, small b is the name for Mr. Brown, small c for the place Canada, s for the shirt. So then H of b comma H of c comma H of s, small s, all denotes the statements. All these denotes the statements. So hx for x is mortal. hx हमने क्या लिखा? hx for x is mortal. H is mortal. But what is that x value? X is whatever here. X is a mortal. Okay. Then HB, HC and HS and others having the same form can be obtained from HX by replacing X by an appropriate name. Suppose here instead of X, if I take B, so H of B, what will be the value of H of B? H of B will be one predicate. H of B is one predicate where small b is a variable, denotes the name, that is Mr. Brown, and H is a predicate which is a mortal. So how do you write H of B colon, this is Mr. Brown is a mortal. How do you write Mr. Brown Mr. Brown I just open Word. we'll write h of h is a mortal. This is predicate. Okay. Now h of x is being written as x is a mortal, and we have b is for the name, that is Mr. Brown. Small c is used for Canada, that is placed. Small s is used for shirt, a shirt. Okay, so instead of x, instead of this x, if I use b, then it becomes h of small b is my predicate, and instead of b, what do you write? Mr. Brown. H of b, Mr. Brown, is a mortal. Mr. Brown is a mortal. Similarly, h of c, Mr. not Mr. Canada is a mortal. Then h of s, a shirt is a mortal. You will find no meaning of these predicates. Okay, let it be, there is no meaning, but how do you depict it and how do you write it is this way. We'll see why you are not getting any meaning of these sentences. So these are the sentences which should be written in the predicate calculus, so we are not bothering about the meaning. So if I say that h is a mortal is a predicate, then h of x, so x is mortal. यहाँ पर क्या लिखा हमने, h predicate लिखा. अगर मैं h of x लिखती हूँ तो x small में लिखा है x is a variable, h is a predicate, x is a variable. ये जो variable है ये छोटे केस में लिखा जाता है, तो ये जो variable लिखा है x वाला यहाँ पे, वो वाला x variable लिख के is a mortal लिखा है. Okay, so this is a predicate calculus statement. Now here we take B as the name of a person, Mr. Brown. Here we take C as the name of the place, that is Canada. Here third one we take S as a shirt for the variable S. So we define three predicates, H of B, H of C, then H of S. So H of B can be defined as, instead of X, we write B over here. Instead of this X, we write value of B, Mr. Brown. So H of B is Mr. Brown is mortal. Then C, H of C value is Canada, Canada is mortal. H of S is a variable, which this variable denotes a shirt. So a shirt is a mortal. This is how we have written all the three predicates. So these are the three predicates which are being defined using the predicate h of x. H is the statement, predicate statement, predicate calculus, and h of x is for a particular x value, it is being defined. Okay, now some simple statement functions. What are these simple statement functions? Shall I repeat? Shall I repeat? Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, I am repeating. Let's begin with the first slide again. Predicate calculus. Predicate calculus means there are two preposition. Rita is a student, Sita is a student. So here Rita is a student, this statement, and Sita is a student. These two are called as prepositions. Now these propositions have something in common. What is common in these two propositions? That is a student. Both are is a student is common to both. दोनों क्या है? स्टूडेंट है. ये भी स्टूडेंट है, ये भी स्टूडेंट है. तो हम in general write what we write is a student. So this x is a variable and this x is a student. Better you write always in small case. The variable should always be written in small case. So we write x is a student in a small case. Okay. Similarly, this x is a statement, is a predicate. X is a student is called a predicate. And in predicate calculus, we deal with the statements which involves predicates. So x is a student is a proposition and we call it as a predicate. Okay. In mathematics, you write 3x plus 3y is equal to 4z. This is a mathematical statement. So now let's see what are predicates. The sentences which involves predicates describing the property of objects. Predicates क्या करते हैं? एक ऑब्जेक्ट की प्रॉपर्टी डिफाइन करते हैं. तो बी डिनोटेड बाय पी ऑफ एक्स. कैपिटल वेरिएबल लेना है, ब्रैकेट के अंदर स्मॉल वेरिएबल लेना है. ये वेरिएबल कुछ भी हो सकता है, पी ऑफ एक्स, टी ऑफ एक्स, एस ऑफ एक्स, कुछ भी लिख सकते हैं. तो पी ऑफ एक्स डिनोट्स दिस predicate. So where p denotes a predicate and x denotes the object. So what is this object? P of x can denote x is a स्टूडेंट. तो x क्या है? यहाँ पर जो वेरिएबल हमने यहाँ लिखा है वो वेरिएबल इज अ स्टूडेंट. तो इस वेरिएबल के अंदर हमने क्या डाली वैल्यू? कोई भी अगर रीटा डालती हूँ तो p ऑफ x की वैल्यू क्या डाली यहाँ पर? रीटा. रीटा इज अ स्टूडेंट. तो यहाँ पर जो भी वेरिएबल यूज कर रहे हैं उस वेरिएबल का नाम और उस वेरिएबल की वैल्यू यहाँ पर प्रिंट करनी है. x is a variable and p denotes the predicate is a student. x is the father of y. X is the father of y. Predicate is the father of. Predicate क्या है? Is the father of. F of x comma y. F of x comma y. So x क्या है? X is one variable, y is another variable. F is a predicate. Predicate क्या है? Is the father of. F क्या है? Is a father of. X is a variable, y is a variable. So these two are the two variables. So we call it as a predicate. F of x comma y is the predicate. X is the father of y. Similarly, 2x plus 3y is equal to 4z can be described as s of x comma y comma z. So this z is my small z. Okay. So now this is the third predicate, s x comma y comma z. 2x plus 3y is equal to 4z. So how many predicates we have seen? We have seen these predicates. P of x, where we say that x is a student. Okay, then we have seen f of x comma y x is a father of y. Then last is x s x comma y comma z. This predicate denotes that 3x plus 3y is equal to 4z. 3x 2x plus 3y is equal to 4z is my predicate. So these are the predicates we have described till now. Okay, this is how do you write the predicate. Capital letter followed by within bracket small case variables, and that variable value should be put up into the statement. This is called as predicate calculus. So we have written predicate calculus like this. Okay, that means what we are basically doing, why we are learning this discrete mathematics is that in a normal English language, in a natural language processing is one subject in PG. So that language should be denoted in mathematical formulas. Why that language should be denoted in mathematical formulas? Because we do all the computation using the programming language. And what is the programming language? The programming language is the language which the computer understands. So for example, अगर मुझे किसी ने कुछ नॉर्मली भाषा में कुछ बोलता है, कोई नेचुरल लैंग्वेज में बोलता है, तो उस नेचुरल लैंग्वेज को मुझे समझना है कि वो क्या बोल रहा है, उसको हमको एनालाइज करना है, उससे हमको कुछ प्रेडिक्शंस करने हैं, कुछ उसके ऊपर से हमको कंक्लूजन्स निकालने हैं या उसका मीनिंग अंडरस्टैंड करना है. तो ये जो कंसेप्ट है, ये प्रोग्रामिंग, ये जो कंसेप्ट है डिस्क्रीट मैथमेटिक्स का, ये एक पॉइंट है जहां पर एक सिंपल भाषा में लिखा हुआ स्टेटमेंट को हमने मैथमेटिक्स की फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट किया, और उस मैथमेटिक्स का जो फॉर्मूला बनाया हमने, वो फॉर्मूले को हम प्रोग्राम में डालेंगे, कोई प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज में, और उस प्रोग्रामिंग में लैंग्वेज में डालने के बाद में उसको हम कंप्यूटर में प्रोसेस करेंगे और उसका रिजल्ट लेकर आएंगे. सो दिस इज this type of sequence. So we are learning one point out of it. Okay. So now let's continue with the next slide, that is statement, function, variables and quantifiers. Now we have seen that H is a predicate, is a model, and B the name Mr. Brown, C Canada and S shirt. Then HB, HC and HS all denote statements. So HX for X is a model, then HB, HC and HS and the others having the same form can be obtained from HX by replacing X by an appropriate name. So here similarly, like we have seen in the last case, that the H is the predicate, is a model predicate. Suppose if we write, then instead of in general way we write HX, X is a model, and in the way that X is being replaced by B, then it is called as Mr. Brown is a model. Then this X is being replaced by C, then we can say that Canada is model. If I replace X by S, then we say a shirt is model. So this is how these three prepositions, these predicate calculus statements can be formed using this preposition. Okay. Now simple statement function. Statement of one variable is defined to be an expression consisting of a predicate, symbols and an individual variable. So statement of one variable is defined to be an expression consisting of a predicate, symbols and an individual variable. मतलब एक statement जो होती है, simple statement function, how do you write it? You write it using the predicate symbol that is in capital letter, followed by within bracket small case variable, single variable, individual variable. एक एक variable लिखना है, अगर एक variable है तो एक ही variable, like h within bracket small x bracket close, या फिर h within bracket x को replace किया small b से, that is a variable. So such a statement function becomes a statement when the variable is replaced by the name of any object. जब वो एक नाम से replace हो जाएगा, वो statement जब एक नाम से replace हो जाएगा, when the variable is replaced by the name of any object, then it becomes the statement. जब वो क्या हो जाएगा, जब मैंने लिखा h of b, so I call it as now statement. HB, Mr. Brown is model. So now I call it as a statement. I call it as a, this is called as, P of X is called as predicate, and when we replace X by a variable, that variable value is being replaced here and here, then we call it as a statement. जैसे यहाँ पर हमने क्या लिखा, यहाँ पर h of x, ये हमारा predicate calculus हो गया, ये वाला is a model, ये हमारा predicate हो गया. अब इस x की जगह हमने वैल्यू डाली b को, ये वेरिएबल हो गया, तो ये वेरिएबल स्टेटमेंट कहलाएगा. h of b is a statement function, is called as the predicate statement function for a variable. Okay, so here such a statement function becomes a statement when the variable is replaced by the name of any object. The statement resulting from a replacement is called a substitution instance of the statement function and is a formula of the statement calculus. मतलब जब हम उसको इससे रिप्लेस कर देते हैं तो वो सब्स्टिट्यूशन इंस्टीट्यूशन कहते हैं. सब्स्टिट्यूशन इंस्टेंस मतलब उसको उससे रिप्लेस कर दिया वेरिएबल को उसकी वैल्यू से, और उस टाइप की स्टेटमेंट को कहेंगे स्टेटमेंट कैलकुलस. So statement functions are obtained from combining one or more simple statement functions and logical connectors. अब देखो ये अलग अलग जो statement functions है, मतलब हमने सिंपल एक पूरी लाइन को हमने एक मैथमेटिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशन से रिप्रेजेंट कर दिया. जब मैं उन सब मैथमेटिकल रिप्रेजेंटेशंस को इकट्ठा कंबाइन करूंगी तो हमारा पूरा एक मैथमेटिकल फंक्शन बन जाएगा, पूरा का पूरा स्टेटमेंट फंक्शन बन जाएगा. वो लॉजिकल स्टेटमेंट भी हो सकता है, लॉजिकल कनेक्टिव्स भी हो सकता है, स्टेटमेंट फंक्शंस भी हो सकता है. ओके, जैसे देखो यहाँ पर क्या लिखा, m example for the statement function of two variables, m x, x is a man, h x, x is a model. ये दो हो गए हमारे पास में प्रेडिकेट्स, ये पहला वाला प्रेडिकेट हो गया, ये दूसरा वाला प्रेडिकेट हो गया. ये पहला वाला प्रेडिकेट कैलकुलस का स्टेटमेंट, सेकंड वाला प्रेडिकेट कैलकुलस का स्टेटमेंट. अब ये दो स्टेटमेंट जो है उन लोगों को मिला दिया हमने. कैसे, m of x and h of x, ये सिंबल हमने पढ़ा था एंड और नॉट, ये एंड का सिंबल है. ये इम्प्लाइज का सिंबल है। तो m of x and h of x, तो हम इसको क्या पढ़ेंगे, x is a man and x is a mortal। तो ये देखो, ये जो स्टेटमेंट्स हैं दोनों के दोनों, पहला वाला प्रेडिकेट कैलकुलस, दूसरा वाला प्रेडिकेट कैलकुलस, इसको हमने स्टेटमेंट फंक्शन में इस तरह से फॉर टू वेरिएबल्स वी हैव कन्वर्टेड। नाउ m of x implies h of x, that means x is a man implies x is a mortal। negation of hx, negation of hx मतलब x is a mortal, so not x is a mortal। Similarly last one, m of x or negation of hx, that is x is a mortal or not x is a mortal। g x comma y, x is taller than y, so if both x and y are replaced by the name of the object we get the statement। अगर x और y दोनों को हमने किसी वैल्यू से रिप्लेस कर दिया तो हमारा वो स्टेटमेंट कहलाएगा। if m represent Mr. Miller and f represent Mr. Fox, then we have g m comma f, Mr. Miller is taller than Mr. Fox, and if you write g f comma m, then Mr. Fox is taller than Mr. Miller। So it is possible to form the statement functions of two variables by using statement function of one variable। one variable से two variables का function हम इस तरह से फॉर्म करते हैं। यहाँ पर कंबाइन कर दिया g x comma y, x is taller than y, तो यहाँ पर x की वैल्यू में m डाला, y की वैल्यू में f डाल दिया, और फिर हमने उनको वैल्यू, उनकी जो वैल्यूज है उससे रिप्लेस कर दिया और ये स्टेटमेंट पूरा बना दिया। तो इस तरह से हम स्टेटमेंट्स को कंबाइन करेंगे। तो नाउ फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई वी आर बेसिकली लर्निंग दिस पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक इन द डिस्क्रीट मैथमेटिक्स। अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग, देयर इज अ कंसेप्ट ऑफ नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग। एक बहुत बड़ा टॉपिक है नेचुरल लैंग्वेज प्रोसेसिंग का, मतलब जो हमारे पास में नेचुरल लैंग्वेज दी हुई है उसको हमको मैथमेटिकल फॉर्म में रिप्रेजेंट करना है। तो व्हेन वी वांट टू रिप्रेजेंट दैट इन अ मैथमेटिकल फॉर्म वी यूज प्रेडिकेट कैलकुलस। तो हम उसको एक स्मॉल स्मॉल, ये देखो स्मॉल स्मॉल, ये छोटे छोटे प्रेडिकेट्स के फॉर्म में रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं। इसके साथ में हमने ये ऑपरेटर्स लगाए हैं, इम्प्लाइज, बाय कंडीशनल, निगेशन, एंड, और, नॉट, ये हमने सिंबल्स पढ़े हुए, इनको कंबाइन करते हुए हम एक से ज्यादा जो हमारे प्रेडिकेट कैलकुलस दिए हुए हैं उनको कंबाइन करते हैं। अभी यहाँ पर दो वेरिएबल पढ़ा है, ये g के साथ में x y, तो स्टेटमेंट फंक्शन ऑफ टू वेरिएबल्स, दिस इज स्टेटमेंट फंक्शन ऑफ टू वेरिएबल, बट दिस इज स्टेटमेंट फंक्शन ऑफ वन वेरिएबल, एंड कंबाइनिंग दिस टू together to form a statement function of one variable। ये statement function of one variable है, ये one variable है, statement function of one variable है, statement function of one variable। this is statement function of two variables, क्योंकि g is my predicate and under that bracket में x comma y दिया हुआ है। x एक one variable है, y दूसरा variable है। इनके अंदर हमने x की वैल्यू हमने सप्लाई की m और y की हमने f सप्लाई कर दी। तो ये x में वेरिएबल डाला हमने m और y के अंदर वेरिएबल हमने डाला f। अब इस वेरिएबल की वैल्यू क्या है, मिस्टर मिलर, इस f की वैल्यू क्या है, मिस्टर फॉक्स। तो जब मैंने इस वेरिएबल की वैल्यू सब्स्टिट्यूट की तो x की जगह हमने क्या लिखा, मिस्टर मिलर m, एंड y is being replaced by this f, and what is the value of f, Mr. Fox। so Mr. Miller is taller than Mr. Fox, क्योंकि यहाँ पर हमने क्या बोला, m मतलब मिस्टर मिलर, f मतलब मिस्टर फॉक्स। तो यहाँ पर m कॉमा f लिखा तो ये स्टेटमेंट बन जाएगा, f कॉमा m लिखा तो ये स्टेटमेंट बन जाएगा। तो हम इसको बोलेंगे दिस इज प्रेडिकेट कैलकुलस विद टू वेरिएबल्स, दैट इज फंक्शंस, स्टेटमेंट फंक्शंस ऑफ टू वेरिएबल्स। ओके, नाउ आई एंड अप द क्लास।